Thursday the 7th of May today, and we're doing a little bit of a different walk on the beach because, well, number one, the tide's in, but number two, we've come down to Rossall. So we're at the end of West Way. So you'll have seen these green marker posts. These are to show you where the gates are when you're on the beach so that you don't get lost. Very tall, aren't they? Goodness me. So that's the end of Westway. This is where the site office was. And if you came to speak to the team, you'd have remembered the little porter cabin that was on the corner down there. And this car park here was the site offices for the Sea Defence Works. So this is the seafront and the lovely Larcombe grasslands. Show you this bit first and then we'll go on to the seafront. So the grass channel stops as a overflow channel for possibly sometime in the future, not now, but this job's got a 100-year design life, so it's possible that in 100 years when we're all dead and buried that it might be needed. So look at that for a prom, it's just absolutely beautiful. You can see, I mean, we're at Fleetwood now, but you can see Blackpool Tower. I'll just zoom in, show you. So you've got the same landmarks that we can see from Cleveley's Beach. So on the left, that square tall building just above the sea wall is Norbreck Water Tower. And then you've got the Norbreck Castle Hotel, Blackpool Tower and North Pier. And it's about probably 8 miles, 7-8 miles-ish to North Pier. So it's quite a way. So this is the beautiful, beautiful Rossall sea wall. Look at that. Gorgeous. So this was finished in 2018, I believe. Hold on, just a minute. Oh no, it's a dog-friendly zone. I thought it was the sign that tells us when they'd completed the job. So this was finished in about 2018, took about 4 years to build at a cost of £64 million, which came from the Environment Agency. So it's about twice as wide as the old sea wall was. So where this intermediate wall is, that's about how wide the old wall was at the point where it met the beach. So this is roughly where the old prom was as it started to slope down. The rear sea wall, this one, is only about the same height as the old one that was there before. But because it's all being remodelled and rebuilt, it looks a lot more in keeping, shall we say. So I'm going to take you down this access ramp to the beach. I think there are 3 access ramps from memory. And these are for emergency vehicles, RNLI, anybody that needs to get something on wheels down to the seafront. Just look at that. What a day. So that's where this job ends. The next little bit is in front of Rossall School. So you can see there, that's the bit in front of Rossall School. And then Rossall Beach, where we've been doing most of our walks, is just next to it. So this is about a quarter of an hour walk from my front door. Very lucky, I know. Very, very lucky. So we'll go down and have a look at the water and how clean it is. And I would imagine you can see quite a way down into it, judging by what we've already looked at this week. So the steps are part of the Sea Defence Works and they rebound the energy of the waves. Then this wall here is a what's called a recurve wall, so it's designed to reflect waves as they hit against it and bounce them back. So you can see that when it is actually splashing and coming over in winter, there's a lot of water. Oh, I've not actually been down here when it's been quiet and still like this and the water's been right up to the top of the rocks. It's lovely. Oh, that's really weird. If you stand here and look, I mean, the camera's probably around about 5 foot-ish, and the water almost feels like you're sort of floating in it. And can you hear it glugging in between the rocks? Well, you can see it down there in that hole. And all these rocks are exactly positioned so that the voids in them work to take the energy out of the waves, so that the holes are just as important as the actual rocks themselves, and it's the unevenness of it that does the job. Oh, that's lovely. Oh, it's just like being on your holidays. You see, it's a little bit more turbulent today, so it's picking sand up, but it's still clean, still very clear. Oh, you could almost feel like you'd come to the seaside. It's really lovely. I'm being nosy, I'm going to have another look down these gaps. You see the water splashing about. Can you see these posts as well? There's one behind me that you'll be able to see better. I'll turn around in a second. There are posts stuck up. I can see from here, I can see 3. And the metal posts with a green sort of a flag on the top. I'll turn around and then you can have a look at this one. Oh, actually, I'll just zoom out because it's a bit disturbing. There's one there, look. There in the sea. And they're marker posts for the ends of the rock groins. So they mark where they are so that any boats or ships or people doing various water sports know where the rocks are underneath the water, and they know not to get stuck on them. And they're reasonably, you might wonder why the groins at Cleveland's have not got a mark on the end of them, but they're a reasonably new requirement of new beach works. So if you're building anything new now, you've got to put them on the end. So when they do the Wide Beach Management Project and we get our groins rebuilt at Cleveland's, there will be marker posts on the end of our groins. But the interesting thing about them is that they're an opportunity for wildlife. I mean, obviously you'll get birds perching on them like they do on a lamppost, but one of the things that we were hoping to do was to put some additional roost on it, because we get such a lot of birds on our beach anyway at Cleveland's. So we want to attract them and get them to come and perch there. It's just gorgeous. Can't say any other. There's a staircase here down to the beach, so these staircases lead obviously down to this point. And then the groins are parallel to the staircases. Woo! So as you stood here, the rock groin goes out in the water in a straight line. Well, on the beach, obviously, under the water, in a straight line. And then here at the bottom of the steps there's what's called a groin crossover ramp, so that you don't get cut off and you don't get stuck when you're walking on the beach. I love listening to the sea. It doesn't matter how many times I hear it, I always say I love listening to the sea. So pretty. It's lovely. Right, we'll go up here. So this carries on for just over a mile, if I remember rightly. So we'll go up these steps and we'll have a look over the wall at the Larcombe grasslands, because they're really interesting, and being a bit of a animal fanatic, I really like that area. So we'll walk up to this marker here, which funnily enough says Larcombe grasslands on it. Well, I never. So because they've needed to keep the go on, put my teeth in. They've needed to keep the grass overflow channel for overtopping in later years. So rather than just reinstating the ugly concrete channel that was there before, it's all been re-landscaped and made into a sort of an ecological, I won't say park, because it's not a park, as you'll see in a minute. It's a natural grassland. Now, when we were doing the sea defence works, the engineer that was running this project always used to laugh, he got it off pat, and I can't quite remember exactly what it is, but it's something to do with a close grazed hilltop in northwest Scotland or something, is what this habitat's like. And it has got a lot of different plants and animals and things in it, and wildlife and all the rest. So there you go, look at this. So currently the channel is dry, but there are little ponds that are made into it. So the water, if it overtops, comes into this ditch, and obviously it's going to collect rainwater in winter. And then there are two ponds, there's one here and another one a bit further up. They're not very deep, they're only shallow, but they're natural water areas for wildlife. And if I see any frogs and tadpoles, I'm going to scream. I've got a little wildlife pond in my garden, and I really, really wanted some frogs in my pond. And I'd even got two people lined up who got ponds at home that had got frog spawning and whatnot. And then, would you believe, we got coronavirus, so that put paid to my frogs. So it's actually, it might look a bit minging, but it's actually very clean. Look at all the weed in the bottom. Looks as if it wants a clean out, doesn't it? Very nice though. Lovely pond. I mean, obviously it's hardly rained for weeks. It's been really dry. So it's not exactly going to be deep in this weather. But nonetheless, it will be running in animals. They might be too small for us to see, but they'll be there. So that's the lovely seafront at Larcombe. And when all these wild flowers and plants grow and flower, it looks absolutely beautiful on here, because there are different mowing regimes rather than scalping it all like a bowling green. So you get all the flowers in summer. So we'll leave that here for today. I'll love you and leave you, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I think actually while I'm here, I'll do another little film of the rest of Larcombe grasslands, and then we can watch that one tomorrow, because tomorrow I've got various things to do and I'm going to be in a bit of a rush. So I'll come back tomorrow for part 2. So I'll love you and leave you. Have a nice day, enjoy the sunshine, stay home and stay safe. Bye.